Hello everyone, it is Satellite and today I'm here with another Garen video. Today I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how to beat Hecarim, who's an increasingly popular pick for the top lane, weirdly, because I honestly don't think he's that great of a pick for the top lane, but whatever. He's being picked a lot lately, and I've read a few people asking me to put matchup guides for this guy, so I've decided to just go ahead and make a video in which I give you tips and tricks on how to beat him. So yeah, as you can see right now, I'm trying to pick my first item because I was not sure if I should start with a longsword or with a cloth armor. And I spoil you, I end up picking up the cloth armor because that way I can take 2 more health pots, and you will see that I need those, so it's probably the best start. We're gonna talk about Hecarim's abilities later, like in a few seconds, not right now, but you know, for the beginning of the game, getting protection from physical damage is the best option. I guess a ruby crystal would be good too, or a Doran's shield, but I decided to go with more sustain, with more immediate sustain, and you will see that this is probably the best idea in order to win the game. So yeah, now let's get into. I need to explain a couple of things to you. First up is why the video is so short, and the reason why is because I'm having a few familiar problems. I'm not going to go deep into this. My life is being a little hard on me lately, and it's hard to play, it's hard to record, it's hard to organize the work, and besides all those problems, we still have problems with the internet connection, so it's not exactly. You're going to see some lag in this video, and it's going to make you see that I'm not exactly into the easiest situation, but I'll try to keep going on. Then the second thing is the reason why the video is short again is because the enemy AD carry is going to go AFK. I wasn't sure if I should have shared this video with you, but I've decided to do it regardless because this video is more for the matchup, because I don't see Hecarim being picked too much in ranked games, so so I was like, well, I've got this chance to show people how to beat Hecarim. I'm better off trying to show that, and even if the game is not exactly the best game ever, even though I will dominate throughout the whole game, it's still worth sharing, even with the enemy being AFK. Now, as you can see, now after this whole big and long introduction, I'm finally able to go on with some explanations on how to beat this guy. Now, as you can see, I recommend you start with a cloth armor because the pots are just too useful, and this guy also started with a damn flask, which makes things a lot harder for me because he gets more sustain than the one he already has from his Spirit of Dread ability. But start with a cloth armor and go on towards armor, but do build some magic resist too, because he's going to deal increasing magic damage over time. Now, as you can see, you probably saw this first a little bit a few seconds ago, maybe a minute ago or so. But the most important thing you must know when you're trading with this guy is keep away when he's using Spirit of Dread. The way Spirit of Dread works is it absorbs the damage, every damage that is dealt within its range. That includes basic attacks from you, no, well, not from you, but from minions to you, from minions to minions, from friendly minions to enemy minions, and vice versa. It includes all that, and it's going to convert a part of that damage into health for himself, plus the damage the ability itself deals. So you kind of understand that that's the reason why Hecarim is a hard enemy to face. People think he's tanky, but he's not tanky at all. He's not tanky. He gets his tankiness, or sort of tankiness, he gets it from his Spirit of Dread. So whenever he activates that, Spirit of Dread is, the big area of effect, magic damage dealer that he activates, gives him, deals damage over time. That one. When he activates Spirits of Dread, he becomes tanky, and when he does that, you must avoid trading at all costs, because he's going to tank the damage you deal to him, and he's going to be able to, well, he's not always going to win the trade because of that, but he is going to get an advantage, and it's going to make things harder for you, even with your shield on, because your shield only lasts for 2 seconds at level 1, while the Spirit of Dread lasts for a lot longer at level 1 than that. So you are going to need to avoid the trading. And please do not do what I'm doing here, which is I'm letting him poke me with his Q too much. That's, it's a little hard to do because, it's area of effect damage, and, it's a pretty big amount of damage, really, and it's hard to miss from Hecarim because he's really fast, and it's hard, and he ignores collisions, so it's pretty hard for him to miss it when he wants to land it. Now, as you can see, you're going to see a very nice kill here. I go into the brush so he cannot auto attack me, and as you can see, I was one auto attack away from death, and he didn't manage to pull it off because I was in the bush, and he followed me, which is a big mistake. You never follow a Garen when he goes into a bush because he just deals damage to you while you can't deal damage to him. So I guess I could say one tactic to beat pretty much every enemy is to use bushes to your advantage, but it's not only all about that. So as you can see now, I'm going to build some magic resist as well, getting a long sword and boots because I need to keep myself up, able to reach him. And for now, I'm going to stick with the cloth armor because my tankiness is boosted by my W, so there's no need to spam armor right now. So I'm going to get some magic resistance, and once you get magic resistance, and a long sword too, you are able to trade with him even when he has Spirit of Dread active. But in the early game, that's really what changes it. Now, I hardly see any Hecarim maxing that first, but if you see that Hecarim's maxing that, do not trade because, it gets too tanky for you to kill him and things get too hard. So that's one tip, one general, the most important tip I can possibly give to you on how to win against him. Please do not trade when he's gotten Spirit of Dread active in the early game. And as you can see, I'm going to avoid fighting, and once his Spirit of Dread goes off, I'm going to start trading again, and that's going to. And as you can see, I have an advantage, and I turned on my shield here. It was kind of a waste, but you can see I didn't even have to turn it on while I was trading with him. So you get a pretty big advantage as long as you trade with him when he does not have Spirit of Dread active. It makes the difference. It's really what makes the difference. So yeah, as you can see with Spirit of Dread, things get a lot harder. But yeah, I'm done speaking about that. You guys probably understood everything there was to understand about how to win, about how to avoid taking too much damage from that ability. But yeah, so let's go on with the second thing. Well, his Q, as I said, is area of effect poke, and it is pretty hard to dodge. Now, as you can see, I'm going to get a pretty nice double kill right here because, Nidalee is just idiot. So yeah, and I used the flash, even though I didn't have to use the flash. You're probably thinking I was stupid, but I needed to use it to kind of make the enemies fail their abilities, even though, well, I actually didn't manage to dodge. I don't think I managed to dodge Hecarim's Q, but I surely managed to pull off a nice dodge against Nidalee's Q, Nidalee's Spear, whatever it is. I don't know if it's a Q because I don't play Nidalee at all. So let's go on with the explaining. Hecarim's Q is hard to dodge. I get it. It's, it makes sense. It's a pretty strong ability. He can spam it. Doesn't cost much mana, and it deals a lot of damage. And it's hard to dodge. So, it's okay. It's okay if you are, if you're worried about that. And you should try to prevent him from landing it on you. But it does not mean that you gotta get zoned, because you deal a lot of damage. Now, what I would recommend to you is that you try to make him use his Spirit of Dread before you go into a trade. Then after that, you go on towards the trade. You must either, if you silence him, like if you manage to land your silence on him, and you land your silence and you silence them so he can't activate it, start trading, because he's going to activate it before you stop spinning, sure, but he's also going to be unable to tank most of the damage from your E, which is good. It's what we want ultimately, so please keep this in mind. Second tip about this is if he is not silenced and he activates Spirit of Dread, just back off, wait for it to finish, then you go in a trade. he does deal a lot of damage regardless, even if he doesn't have you know, Spirit of Dread available. But you deal more. That's one thing you need to keep in mind. You deal more damage and you tank more damage, because a good Hecarim in laning phase is going to build damage. And I'm not sure if he's going to go towards a Trinity Force, but he surely is going to build damage while you build tankiness. So it's okay to not have your Q or your W while you trade. Just wait for him to use his Spirit of Dread before you trade, and if he doesn't have it available, please be aggressive, because you cannot waste even one chance of trading with him when he's at a disadvantage. You need to abuse it. Now, as you can see, this guy was not exactly the best Hecarim player. I already foresee 1,000 people writing comments in the comment section telling me, well, you always post videos in which your opponents suck. Well, to be honest, I kind of agree with you in this case, because he kind of sucks, really. One of the worst Hecarims I've ever played against, if not the worst. But as a matter of fact, I told you I've gotten trouble at getting footage and stuff, gameplay, and this was overall a decent game with Garen that can teach you how to play against him regardless of the skill level he has. Because the ability one has are those. If you see that he's very good, that he's dominating hard and is able to zone you, just wait for him to use his Spirit of Dread and you will win trades. It's a matter of fact. You can't lose a trade against a Hecarim who does not have Spirit of Dread activate. There's no way, because you deal more damage and take less. It's a matter of fact. So yeah, then his other ability is actually one basic attack like yours. It's like basically like your Q, gives him a speed boost and then stuns you once he lands. It's basically the same thing as Decisive Strike, except it does not silence. It actually just stuns. Probably a little better, but I don't know. I actually like silence a lot. It's a very if one uses it very well, it's a huge advantage in a trade, and it's a huge advantage in a team fight. Being able to get someone rid of his skills for 2.5 seconds is just too nice. It's a very nice perk, and I abuse it a lot, and I recommend you. And I just like him more, just like that more than a stun. Really, it's one of the few chances in which I like a silence rather than an actual CC. So yeah. Well, it's pretty. I don't think there's much more to say, because his abilities, well, his Q is a spammable poke / trading tool, and there's nothing else about that. And I'm going to get another kill here because he sucks. He's another spammable poke / trading tool, and you gotta try to avoid it. So don't stay close to him if you're not going to trade. Stay close to his minions or stuff like that, but don't stay close to him while if you're not going to actually go aggressive on him or try to bait his Spirit of Dread to then trade. So don't stay close, in that case. And then his speed boost attack is just a basic attack. You can't really dodge it. It's how it is. And I just dodged that spear very easily. You can't dodge that, but when you see that he's coming for you, what you have to do is you have to simply avoid taking damage from anything else other than the Q you already took. So, and as you can see, this Hecarim failed this also. This is really proof that he was a terrible player. But as I said, there's nothing else I can really tell you. I mean, it was an overall good game, and I think sharing it was not a bad idea. I mean, I've gotten 5 kills. Sure, he wasn't the best player in the world, but there has to be a small amount of skill from me, right? So yeah, I'm gonna get another kill now, cause I'm just too hard of a guy. So yeah, I didn't even have to use Ignite. I kind of stole it, but whatever. So let's go on with this. I think I've told you pretty much everything you need to know to win a lane against him. So I think it's time for us to quickly recap what you actually have to do and what you don't have to do when you are laning against Hecarim. Now, first up, do not trade if he has a Spirit of Dread going on until you get a decent degree of magic resistance. Number 2, try to avoid his Q, his poke, if it's actually possible for you, but do not get zoned by it. Sure, he's strong, he's it's a powerful thing and you want to dodge it because you know it's a lot of damage and it's free damage, everything you want. But please do not get zoned. It's important that you do not get zoned because he's not so strong. You are totally capable of tanking his damage. Just do not trade if he has a Spirit of Dread because you're gonna waste a lot of effort. So yeah, we got that. Then rule number 3 is if he's silenced, proceed with your E because he can't do anything to prevent himself from taking the damage. If he's not silenced, do not start spinning. Because if you start spinning before he's silenced, a smart Hecarim is going to wait for you to spin, and while you spin, he's going to turn on his Spirit of Dread. That's not what we want. If he activates it right as soon as you start spinning, he's going to tank completely the whole damage from it. And that would be terrible for you, because you can lose the trade. Alright? Then, well, I think I'm done. I think that's it. Oh, well, there's building, actually. I'm going to recap about the build, too. You can either start with armor or a longsword. You gotta see if the enemy has tanky masteries or AD masteries. And also runes. If you can check on LoL Nexus. If you can't check, I would recommend you just start with a cloth armor or a ruby crystal, just to be safe. But if you can't see the enemy's runes and masteries, check it out. Because if he's gotten tanky runes or tanky masteries or both, well then that's a good chance for you to go ahead and use and start with a longsword. So you're going to get a huge advantage in trades, and that's one more thing we really care about because we want to win trades against this guy. If he drops behind you, as you could see, he can't get back up unless you suck. And I hope the people who are watching this video don't suck, really. So yeah, what else? So I would recommend you go hybrid because he deals a lot of physical damage, and as you can see here, I'm gonna get yet another kill. Well, not yet, just in a few seconds, because they try to gangbang me, but the damage is not high enough. So yeah, pretty nice overall tankiness. So build hybrid. You're going to need armor early, and then you're going to want to transition into magic resistance. That way, you get an advantage in trades, and you get the possibility to trade as he has Spirit of Dread active. That's gonna be a huge advantage, and you want that. Then you must get a brutalizer if he starts building armor, but if he does not start building armor, you can consider getting a phage. Now, the reason why I got a phage in this case is because I had my longsword since the beginning of the game, and I did not need more damage because the jungler is really squishy. Nidalee jungle is squishy as hell, so there was no need to get more damage, and he was still winning. And I was still winning trades, so there was no need to boost the damage. So if you are going to boost the damage in the early laning phase, then you must get the brutalizer. Because my feel about the Black Cleaver, I'm going to tell you a few thoughts about it, just because so far I haven't talked about it a lot, and I haven't uploaded my video regarding the update yet. But I will do that soon. So yeah, and there's another kill. Very easy. So in general, it's preferable that you build a brutalizer should you need damage in laning phase. What do I mean? I mean that if you have enough damage to win trades against your opponents, get kills, and if you also have the damage necessary to win a 2v1 against the enemy jungler, then there is no need to build a brutalizer. You can go with the phage. But if you do need more damage, when you are fighting against an enemy, then do get the brutalizer. In general, I prefer the brutalizer because it gives me a ridiculous amount of damage, a huge kill potential on enemies, and this Veigar was crazy. He could have just gone back into his base, but well, whatever. I always tend to judge enemies' actions while I also do make many mistakes myself. But whatever, we're watching the video afterwards, so more. You get more. You become wise when you watch the video. You become much better at self-criticism. So yeah. You need the brutalizer in general. I still prefer the brutalizer over the phage. And that means that a black cleaver becomes a more of a late game item. But I'm going kind of off topic here. So once you get the brutalizer, or in general your damage item against Hecarim, you're kind of done. You have your tankiness, you've got your damage, you're ready for the mid game, and you're actually pretty good, pretty well set up. If you win a lane against a Hecarim, building accordingly to what I said, you're going to win easily, because you're going to have both a mixture of magic resistance and armor, as well as damage. And these three things mixed together make the enemies have a lot of trouble touching you. You're going to get a big advantage against the enemy team, and that's really ultimately what you want. And you're also going to have a good damage. So it's going to be almost impossible for people to kill you, while you will have a huge kill potential in them. And it's going to be amazing. I assure you, it's amazing. So yeah. What else? I think we're done. We're done with it. The build is the normal build. It's just that your priority on the items that you will prioritize will be instead of building only armor like you would normally do against most items. And as you can see, this is a very big and important moment for me, because I told this Talon after he killed me. I was like, okay, Talon, you're going to something like, I'm going to take my revenge on you. I don't remember exactly, but I did tell him that he was going to pay for killing me. So he went on me in a 1v3 situation, and I actually got him. And now you're going to see also, there's going to be another moment, I believe, in which he's going to come 1v1 me, and I'm going to kill him hard. So yeah, pretty nice, pretty big satisfaction for me. So yeah. And by the way, the video is about to be over, so well, there's nothing much more I have to say. I've told you how to avoid losing due to his Spirit of Dread, and I've told you everything I needed to tell you about itemization against him. You go mixed, but you prioritize both armor and magic resistance equally, or at least in the early game you do that. You get Mercury Threads to prevent his stun from lasting too long, and then you get armor, a cloth armor, to reduce his Q's damage and his basic attacks. About his ultimate, there's nothing much more I can tell you. I hardly see you dodging that. It usually hits you, deals magic damage, but you got your Mercury Thread, so you're alright. You won't take too much damage. But there's nothing you can do about to try and dodge it. He's probably also going to turn it on after he's inside of a bush, so it's pretty hard for you to dodge that. So, well, that's pretty much it, guys. I'm sorry for the video being short. I hope I'm going to be able to make longer videos, but my familiar problems are keeping me from doing what I would usually do. But I will do my best nonetheless. I promise you I'll do my best. And the next video is going to be all about the Black Cleaver, regardless of the matchup it's going to be about. So yeah, thanks for watching. See ya.